The rise of the Vandals, from obscurity to infamy. Imagine a world where the greatest empire ever known is crumbling. The year is 410 AD, and the unthinkable has happened. Rome, the eternal city, has been sacked by Alaric Goths. This event, though shocking, was merely a prelude to the chaos that would engulf the Western Roman Empire. Decades later, another barbarian group would rise to inflict even greater devastation upon Rome. These were the Vandals, a tribe whose name would become synonymous with destruction. But who were the Vandals, and how did they transform from a minor Germanic tribe into one of history's most feared conquerors? In this first part of our series, we'll journey back to the origins of the Vandals, exploring their early encounters with Rome, their struggles against the Huns, and their audacious decision to migrate westward. Along the way, we'll uncover the political intrigue, cultural transformations, and military strategies that shaped their rise to power. This is not just a story of conquest, it's a story of survival, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of a better future. The story of the Vandals begins in the misty forests and rolling plains of modern-day Poland. By the 2nd century BC, they had established themselves as one of the many Germanic tribes inhabiting the region. For centuries, they lived in relative obscurity, far removed from the grandeur of the Roman Empire. But by 170 AD, their world began to intersect with Rome's. At the time, the Roman Empire was under the rule of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher-king who spent much of his reign battling barbarian tribes along the Danube frontier. The Marcomannic Wars, as these conflicts were known, were brutal and unrelenting. It was during this period that the Vandals first appeared on Rome's radar. One of the Vandalic tribes, the Hastingi, sought to secure land and wealth by allying with Rome. They approached the Roman governor Cornelius Clemens, offering their services in exchange for territory. But Clemens, a shrewd and calculating leader, had other plans. Instead of granting their request, he took the Hastingi's wives and children hostage, forcing them to fight against another barbarian group, the Costoboci. This early interaction set the tone for the Vandals' relationship with Rome, a mix of exploitation, resistance, and opportunism. The Hastingi, though initially outmaneuvered, would not forget this betrayal. It was a lesson in the harsh realities of power politics, one that would shape their future actions. The 3rd century was a period of profound instability for the Roman Empire. Economic decline, political corruption, and external invasions weak, and the once mighty superpower. Emperors rose and fell with alarming frequency, and the empire's borders were under constant threat. During this time, the Vandals remained a minor force, overshadowed by more powerful tribes like the Goths and Alemanni. Yet, their position on the fringes of the empire allowed them to absorb Roman culture and military tactics. Archaeological evidence from Vandalic graves reveals a fascinating blend of Roman and Germanic influences. Roman jewelry, ceramics, and weapons appear alongside traditional Vandal artifacts, suggesting a gradual cultural assimilation. This fusion of traditions would shape the Vandals' identity and prepare them for their future role as conquerors. One of the most intriguing aspects of this period is the changing settlement patterns of the Vandals. Roman military forts acted as powerful commercial magnets, drawing clusters of settlements towards them on both sides of the border. This interaction between Romans and barbarians was not just one of conflict, it was also a meeting of cultures, ideas, and technologies. The arrival of the Huns in the late 4th century changed everything. These nomadic warriors, emerging from the vast steppes of Central Asia, swept across the Eurasian continent like a storm. Their arrival sent shockwaves through the barbarian world, displacing entire tribes and forcing them into Roman territory. For the Vandals, the Hunnic threat was a wake-up call. Under the leadership of King Godigisel, they realized that their survival depended on finding safer pastures. The decision to migrate was not taken lightly. It meant leaving behind their ancestral homeland, facing unknown dangers, and confronting the might of the Roman Empire. Their first attempt to migrate into Rhaetia, modern-day Switzerland, was thwarted by the Roman general Flavius Stilicho, a half-Vandal himself. Stilicho, a brilliant and ambitious leader, had risen to become one of Rome's most powerful figures. His victory over the Vandals was a testament to his military prowess, but it was only a temporary setback for the barbarian tribe. What can we learn from the Vandals' early encounters with Rome? First, their ability to adapt and learn from their enemies was key to their survival. By absorbing Roman military tactics and cultural elements, they transformed themselves from a minor tribe into a formidable force. Second, Their decision to migrate in response to the Hunnic threat demonstrates their strategic foresight. Unlike other tribes that resisted the Huns and were annihilated, the Vandals chose to flee and regroup, ensuring their long-term survival. This period also highlights the complex relationship between the Romans and the barbarians. While they were often enemies, they were also allies, trading partners, and cultural influences on one another. The Vandals' story is a reminder that history is rarely black and white. It is filled with shades of gray. In 406 AD, the Vandals made a bold and audacious move. Alongside a coalition of barbarian tribes, they crossed the frozen Rhine River into Gaul. This event, known as the Crossing of the Rhine, marked the beginning of a new chapter in their history. The Roman defenses along the Rhine were ill-prepared for such an invasion. The empire, already weakened by internal strife and economic decline, was unable to mount an effective resistance. The Vandals and their allies swept through Gaul, plundering cities and seizing resources. But their success was not without challenges. In 407 AD, King Godegisel was killed in a battle against the Franks, or Roman-aligned tribe. Despite this setback, the Vandals regrouped under his son Gunderic and continued their campaign. Their journey was far from over, and their ambitions were only growing. By the early 5th century, the Vandals had emerged from obscurity and positioned themselves as a significant player in the barbarian world. Their journey was far from over, but they had already demonstrated the resilience and ambition that would define their legacy. In the next part of this series, we'll follow the Vandals as they invade Gaul and Spain, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The Vandals in Gaul and Spain. A trail of destruction. Picture this. The year is 406 AD, and the frozen Rhine River glistens under a pale winter sun. Along its eastern bank, a massive coalition of barbarian tribes gathers. Vandals, Alans, Suebi, and others. They are desperate, driven from their homelands by the relentless advance of the Huns. Behind them lies destruction. Ahead, the promise of new lands and survival. As the ice cracks under their weight, they cross into Roman Gaul, marking the beginning of one of the most dramatic migrations in history. This is the story of the Vandals' invasion of Gaul and Spain, a tale of chaos, ambition, and the unraveling of an empire. In this second part of our series, we'll follow the Vandals as they carve a path of destruction through the heart of the Western Roman Empire. We'll explore their alliances, their battles, and the profound impact they had on the regions they conquered. But this is more than just a story of plunder. It's a story of resilience, strategy, and the human cost of empire building. The crossing of the Rhine in 406 AD was a moment of both desperation and opportunity. The Vandals, led by King Godegisel, were part of a larger coalition of tribes that included the Alans and Suebi. Together, they represented a formidable force, one that the Roman defenses along the Rhine were ill-prepared to stop. The Roman Empire, at this point, was a shadow of its former self. Internal strife, economic decline, and a series of weak emperors had left it vulnerable. The Rhine frontier, once a bastion of Roman power, was now a crumbling line of defense. When the barbarian coalition crossed the frozen river, they met little resistance. The impact of this invasion was immediate and devastating. Cities were sacked, farms were burned, and the local population was either killed or enslaved. The Roman authorities, already struggling to maintain control, were powerless to stop the barbarian advance. For the people of Gaul, it was a time of unimaginable suffering. The Vandals' success in Gaul was not without cost. In 407 AD, King Godegisel was killed in a battle against the Franks, or Roman-aligned tribe. His death could have been a crippling blow to the Vandals, but they quickly regrouped under his son, Gunderic. This transition of power highlights a key aspect of the Vandals' resilience, their ability to adapt and persevere in the face of adversity. Gunderic proved to be a capable leader, guiding the Vandals through the chaos of Gaul and into Spain. His reign marked a turning point for the tribe, as they shifted from being mere raiders to establishing a more permanent presence in the regions they conquered. In 409 AD, the Vandals crossed the Pyrenees into Spain, invited by the Roman rebel Gerontes. This marked the beginning of a 2-year period of devastation for the Iberian Peninsula. The Vandals, along with their allies the Alans and Suebi, ravaged the region, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Spain, at this time, was a wealthy and relatively peaceful province of the Roman Empire. It had largely escaped the turmoil that had engulfed other parts of the empire, making it an attractive target for the barbarian invaders. The Vandals and their allies quickly overran the region, sacking cities and seizing resources. The impact of the Vandal invasion was profound. Cities were sacked, farmland was destroyed, and the local population was decimated. The Roman authorities, already struggling to maintain control, were powerless to stop the barbarian advance. For the people of Spain, it was a time of unimaginable suffering. What made the Vandals so successful in Gaul and Spain? First, their ability to form alliances with other barbarian groups was crucial. By working together, they were able to overwhelm Roman defenses and establish a foothold in new territories. Second, their mobility and adaptability allowed them to exploit the weaknesses of their enemies. Unlike the Romans, who relied on static defenses, the Vandals were constantly on the move, striking where they were least expected. The Vandals' success also highlights the broader decline of the Roman Empire. By the early 5th century, the empire was a hollow shell of its former self. Internal strife, economic decline, and a series of weak emperors had left it vulnerable to external threats. The Vandals, along with other barbarian tribes, were able to exploit these weaknesses to their advantage. By 411 AD, the Vandals and their allies had effectively partitioned Spain among themselves. The Alans took Carthaginensis and Lusitania, the Suebi occupied far northwestern Galatia, and the Vandals took the remainder of Galatia and Baetica in the south. This division of territory marked a new phase in the Vandals' history, as they shifted from being nomadic raiders to establishing a more permanent presence in the regions they conquered. The partition of Spain also highlights the complex political landscape of the time. The Roman Empire, though weakened, was still a significant force. The barbarian tribes, while powerful, were not yet strong enough to completely overthrow Roman authority. Instead, they operated within the framework of the empire, carving out their own territories and establishing their own rules. The arrival of the Visigoths in Spain in 415 AD changed the balance of power. The Visigoths, a powerful and well-organized tribe, were initially invited by the Romans to help quell the barbarian threat. However, they quickly established their own dominance, occupying the formerly imperial province of Tarraconensis. The Visigoths' presence in Spain posed a new challenge for the Vandals. While the two tribes initially coexisted, tensions soon arose. The Visigoths, with their superior military organization and Roman backing, were a formidable opponent. The Vandals, though powerful, were not yet ready to challenge them directly. The Vandals' position in Spain was both a strength and a weakness. On the one hand, they had established a foothold in a wealthy and strategically important region. On the other hand, they were surrounded by powerful enemies, including the Visigoths and the remnants of Roman authority. This period also highlights the importance of leadership in the Vandals' success. Under Gunderic, they were able to navigate the complex political landscape of Spain and establish themselves as a significant force. However, their ultimate success would depend on their ability to adapt and evolve in the face of new challenges. By 420 AD, the Vandals had established themselves as a dominant force in Spain. However, their ambitions did not end there. In the next part of this series, we'll follow the Vandals as they set their sights on North Africa, the breadbasket of the Roman Empire. Their conquest of Carthage would mark the climax of their rise to power and cement their place in history. The conquest of North Africa. The Vandal kingdom rises. Imagine standing on the shores of North Africa in the early 5th century. The Mediterranean sun beats down on the golden sands, and the bustling city of Carthage looms in the distance. This is no ordinary city. It is the jewel of Roman Africa, a thriving hub of trade, culture, and wealth. For centuries, Carthage had been a symbol of Roman power, but now, it was about to fall into the hands of a new conqueror, the Vandals. In this third part of our series, we'll follow the Vandals as they embark on their most audacious campaign yet, the conquest of North Africa. This is a story of ambition, strategy, and the relentless pursuit of power. But it's also a story of human resilience, as the Vandals transform from wandering invaders into the rulers of a prosperous kingdom. By the early 420s, the Vandals had established themselves as a dominant force in Spain. However, their position was precarious. They were surrounded by powerful enemies, including the Visigoths and the remnants of Roman authority. To secure their future, they needed a new frontier, one that offered wealth, security, and strategic advantage. That frontier was North Africa. The decision to cross the Strait of Gibraltar was not taken lightly. It required careful planning, bold leadership, and a willingness to take risks. Under the leadership of King Gaiseric, the Vandals began preparations for their most ambitious campaign yet. In 429 AD, the Vandals made their move. Led by Gaiseric, they crossed the Strait of Gibraltar into North Africa. This was no small feat. It involved transporting tens of thousands of men, women, and children across treacherous waters. The logistics of such an operation were staggering, but the Vandals were up to the challenge. The crossing was a testament to Gaiseric's leadership and organizational skills. He ensured that his people were well prepared for the journey, with enough supplies and equipment to sustain them. Once in North Africa, they quickly overwhelmed the Roman defenses and began their conquest of the region. One of the most significant events of the Vandal invasion was the siege of Hippo Regius, the home of St. Augustine. The city held out for over a year, but eventually fell to the Vandals. The siege marked a turning point in the conflict, as it demonstrated the Vandals' ability to conquer even the most fortified Roman cities. The fall of Hippo Regius was a blow to Roman morale, but it was also a testament to the Vandals' determination and resourcefulness. They had proven that they were not just raiders, they were conquerors, capable of taking and holding territory. Gaiseric's leadership was instrumental in the Vandals' success. His strategic vision, diplomatic skill, and ruthless determination allowed him to outmaneuver his enemies and secure his people's future. Under his rule, the Vandals transformed from a wandering tribe into a powerful kingdom. One of Gaiseric's key strengths was his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. He was a master of both warfare and diplomacy, using whichever tool was most effective in a given situation. This flexibility was crucial to the Vandals' success in North Africa. In 439 AD, the Vandals achieved their greatest victory, the capture of Carthage. This wealthy and strategically important city became the capital of the Vandal kingdom, marking the climax of their rise to power. The fall of Carthage was a significant blow to the Roman Empire. It deprived them of a key source of grain and other resources, further weakening their already precarious position. For the Vandals, it was a moment of triumph, as they established themselves as a major power in the Mediterranean. The Vandal conquest of North Africa had profound implications for both the Vandals and the Roman Empire. For the Vandals, it marked the beginning of a new era of prosperity and power. They now controlled one of the wealthiest regions of the Roman Empire, giving them access to vast resources and strategic advantages. For the Roman Empire, the loss of North Africa was a devastating blow. It further weakened their economy and military, hastening their decline. The Vandals' success also demonstrated the vulnerability of the empire, encouraging other barbarian tribes to challenge Roman authority. By the mid-5th century, the Vandals had established a powerful and prosperous kingdom in North Africa. Under Gaiseric's leadership, they had transformed from wandering invaders into the rulers of a thriving state. However, their success was not without challenges. In the next part of this series, we'll explore the legacy of the Vandal kingdom and its eventual downfall. The legacy of the Vandals, rise and fall. Picture this. The year is 455 AD, and the city of Rome lies in ruins. The Vandals, once a minor Germanic tribe, have sacked the Eternal City, cementing their reputation as one of the most feared forces in the ancient world. Under the leadership of King Gaiseric, they have established a powerful kingdom in North Africa, controlling key trade routes and challenging the might of the Eastern Roman Empire. But how did the Vandals rise to such heights, and what led to their eventual downfall? In this final part of our series, we'll explore the legacy of the Vandal kingdom, from its golden age under Gaiseric to its dramatic collapse at the hands of the Byzantine Empire. This is a story of ambition, resilience, and the fragility of power. It's also a story of human triumph and tragedy, as the Vandals leave an indelible mark on history. The sack of Rome in 455 AD was a defining moment in the history of the Vandals. Led by King Gaiseric, they descended upon the Eternal City with ruthless efficiency, plundering its treasures and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. This event, more than any other, cemented the Vandals' reputation as one of the most destructive forces in the ancient world. But the sack of Rome was not just an act of plunder. It was a calculated move by Gaiseric to assert his dominance and extract maximum concessions from the Roman authorities. By targeting Rome, he sent a clear message to the world. The Vandals were a force to be reckoned with. Gaiseric's leadership was instrumental in the Vandals' success. His strategic vision, diplomatic skill, and ruthless determination allowed him to outmaneuver his enemies and secure his people's future. One of his key strengths was his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. He was a master of both warfare and diplomacy, using whichever tool was most effective in a given situation. The sack of Rome also highlights the broader decline of the Western Roman Empire. By the mid-5th century, the empire was a hollow shell of its former self. Internal strife, economic decline, and a series of weak emperors had left it vulnerable to external threats. The Vandals, along with other barbarian tribes, were able to exploit these weaknesses to their advantage. Under Gaisaric's rule, the Vandal kingdom reached its zenith. Centered in North Africa, it controlled key trade routes and enjoyed access to vast resources. Carthage, the kingdom's capital, became a thriving hub of commerce and culture, rivaling the great cities of the Mediterranean. The Vandals' success was not just due to their military prowess. It was also a result of their ability to adapt and innovate. They adopted many aspects of Roman culture and administration, blending them with their own traditions to create a unique and resilient society. Despite their successes, the Vandals were unable to withstand the might of the Eastern Roman Empire. In 533 AD, the Byzantine general Belisarius launched a campaign to reconquer North Africa, leading to the downfall of the Vandal kingdom. The Byzantine invasion was a turning point in the history of the Vandals. Despite their initial resistance, they were no match for Belisarius's well-trained and disciplined army. The fall of Carthage marked the end of the Vandal kingdom and the beginning of a new chapter in the history of North Africa. The decline of the Vandal kingdom can be attributed to several factors. First, their reliance on Gaisaric's leadership left them vulnerable after his death. Without his strategic vision and diplomatic skill, they struggled to maintain their dominance. Second, the rise of the Byzantine Empire under Emperor Justinian posed a significant threat. The Byzantines, with their superior military organization and resources, were able to outmaneuver and overpower the Vandals. Finally, the Vandals' failure to fully integrate with the local population weakened their hold on North Africa. While they adopted many aspects of Roman culture, they remained a distinct and often resented elite, which made it difficult for them to maintain control in the face of external threats. The Vandals' legacy is a complex one. While they are often remembered as ruthless destroyers, their contributions to history cannot be ignored. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and challenge the status quo left an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Vandal kingdom also serves as a reminder of the fragility of power. Despite their successes, they were unable to withstand the forces of change and ultimately fell to a more powerful adversary. Their story is a testament to the resilience and ambition of the human spirit, as well as the challenges of building and maintaining an empire. The rise and fall of the Vandals is a testament to the turbulent nature of the ancient world. Their story serves as a reminder of the fragility of empires and the enduring power of ambition and resilience. From their origins as a minor Germanic tribe to their rise as a dominant force in the Mediterranean, the Vandals left an indelible mark on history. As we reflect on their legacy, we are reminded of the complexities of human history, the triumphs and tragedies, the alliances and betrayals, the rise and fall of great powers. The Vandals may be gone, but their story lives on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit.